What's up, YouTube? Today we are comparing and contrasting two separate knives. It is the Bradford Guardian in AEBL steel, the Spyderco Little Native in CPM S30V. The steels are very different, kind of different ends of the spectrum. This doesn't have super duper edge retention, but it does have super duper corrosion resistance, and it's extremely tough, some of the toughest steel. This has super duper edge retention, but not super duper tough. And I'm not sure how corrosion resistant it is, but I don't think it's super duper. But what I want to point out is that they both have this choil right here. And I think they're both kind of beloved for their ergonomics, or hated for their ergonomics. This one, that choil also serves as something that stops you from catching. I mean, Spyderco is legendary in its own right. Both of these blades are made in America. This one has a liner lock on the back and pretty much drops closed. This one obviously is a fixed blade. And some people do cry about this right here, but I'm just not one of them. People think that like somehow they're going to cut themselves. Yeah, you could. I mean, it's a knife, but I haven't yet. Now, as similar as they are, one thing they're, let's take a look at the handles. Let's take a look at the handles. I'm trying to line them up pivot to pivot. Well, let's line them up by these. It would seem that they have about the same handle length, nearly. But Bradford's 3D contoured scales are especially awesome, in my opinion. What is that in there? I don't know. But yeah, interesting that these are so similar ergonomically. And they have similar blade shapes. This is more of a leaf blade shape. This is more of like a drop point. Very nice stuff. And yeah, I have bigger fixed blades. They're on the channel. I have enormous fixed blades. Yeah, I like this guy and I like that. I will say I think that this is going to, I mean, for an EDC, it's going to be hard to beat this because obviously it collapses into a little tiny thing, and then the entirety of the apparatus is the size of this handle. But it has internals, liner lock. I don't know if you'll be able to see the washers in there. They look like either bronze or brass. I don't know. Basically, you're not really going to want to have a bunch of sand in this, just because it's not good for it. They're not bearings where it would like destroy it, but you're going to want to avoid that. It does have pass-through construction. But this, I mean, no matter how much blood and guts you get on it from field dressing, it's, or what sand you drop it in, it's also not going to rust because it's AEBL steel, and that steel barely rusts. There's just not very much carbon in it at all. I don't know much about S30V, to be honest. I'm not an expert. If you watch this channel, you know that I'm more on the other end of the spectrum, liking things that are extremely tough. But for a small EDC folding knife, I think any super steel, powdered super steel would really do it. Although this is not powdered, I don't think. And I get this is kind of getting into the metallurgy. We do that on this channel sometimes. If you're here strictly from the videos of saps, blackjacks, knuckles, well, welcome aboard. But also, we talk about a lot of things on this channel besides just EDC, philosophy, application of force type things. And part of that is what kind of blade should I be looking at? And I get that many of you are subscribed to a bajillion channels and you're like, buddy, I don't need any help. But there's going to be people that see this that don't have an EDC knife picked out. I've heard this is Chicago legal. I don't know about that. Don't get caught in Chicago doing something you shouldn't, but use your judgment. I've heard going to jail in Chicago is a pretty bad time. Even like just for a bit, even county. And as far as self-defense, could you use either of these for self-defense? I would say yes. Is this going to be a little bit easier? Well, yeah, it's bigger and you don't have to flip it out or draw it out. It's going to be already, I appendix carry mine, whatever you're doing is great. Could you defend yourself with this? Yeah, it's going to be much more limited. But in this case, I think for both, I'd be going for the face a lot. I mean, it's obvious, right? Face, neck, or whatever they stick out like their hands. But yeah, so these are very capable. I just found it really interesting. I got this for Christmas, so I pulled it out and was like, this reminds me of something. I pulled out my Bradford and was like, oh, gotcha. But anyway, that's about all she wrote for this one. Thanks for sticking with me to the end. Hope you folks have a good rest of your day. Bye now.